Series game tomorrow. We'll have baseball, then a 4 o'clock pro football game between Cincinnati and Cleveland. If no World Series tomorrow, football doubleheader. And there you see the lineup for the first games, followed by either Cleveland at Cincinnati or San Diego at Denver. 2-0, Pittsburgh ahead, inning number 4, and Chuck Thompson.
Here is Bob Robertson. He singled to knock in the Pirates' first run of the ball game in the second inning, and Palmer starts him with a ball 1. Kind of a fellow you'd say he's got muscles on top of muscles. Now 1-1 to Robertson.
And he now leads the series and runs batted in with 5. He's made his hits count.
2-1 now. Looks like it might have been a little slider from Palmer. This will be out of play on the count of level 2-2. The due batters would be against Palmer, Bob Robertson, then Manny Sanguillen, and then Hernandez. Another base hit. Well, the Pirates continue their trademark, almost a trademark, of at least a hit an inning. Now a total of 6 off the offerings of Jim Palmer. Here is Manny Sanguillen. How about that for a record? Hit over 305 of his 7 pro seasons.
You know, Chuck, when a team gets a man on base every inning of a game, it's unusual. The Pirates now have had men on base 18 innings in a row.
And a ball 1 to Manny Sanguillen.
Now that's really something. 18 innings in a row, they've had at least one man on base, and most of them base hits.
Now a ball 2 to Manny. Osiak coaching third base way, giving Sanguillen the what for, if necessary, on this 2-0 pitch. Boog Powell making a move, and we'll see whether or not he has a play. Apparently he will have a play, and that's the first out of the inning. Baltimore is getting some more activity started in their bullpen. It's the same duo that we mentioned earlier. Dave Leonard, a right-hander, and Grant Jackson, a left-hander. There they are.
I think this Hernandez has been the surprise player of the series, Chuck.
Well, I don't think many Baltimore people expected he would hit better than 300 in this World Series, and he certainly is doing that. Strike 1 to Jack.
And he's played flawlessly in the field. He's supposed to be erratic, but he hasn't been in this series.
Well, those are the seasonal figures for Hernandez. A 206 hitter on the regular season, and a 364 swinger in the World Series. Out of play. 2 strikes to Hernandez. And certainly if there's a Pirate ball player the Oriole pitching staff should know, it would be Hernandez, the former American leaguer. One out, Robertson the runner at first base. There's Palmer's curveball. When Palmer can throw that pitch for strikes, then Palmer is a very tough pitcher. That's strikeout number 2 for Palmer.
Bob Moose.
Here is pitcher Bob Moose. Called upon to sacrifice in the second inning. He did so. They play him to hit the ball to the opposite field, and they're playing him very shallow, and a strike on the Palmer fastball. See Retman way over in right center field, and the outfielders are all up pretty shallow, with the possible exception of Buford, the left fielder. Low, ball 1, 1 ball, 1 strike. One and 2. Well, that was a pretty good Palmer fastball. That one really moved. Powell for the unassisted putout and the final out in the Pirate half of the fourth. No runs, one base hit, no errors, and a man left. At the end of 3 1/2, the score is Pittsburgh 2 and Baltimore nothing. Let's go to Tony Kubek.
You know, as Roberto Clemente stepped to the plate the last time up before he hit his home run, there were a lot of people here in Baltimore that rose to their feet, gave him a good hand, as admiring his great ability. And it seemed kind of strange to me that some of these people have never had an opportunity to see Roberto Clemente before, and I think that was a great promotion for possible interleague play. Let's go back upstairs.
Well, the Orioles in the bottom of the fourth inning start with second baseman Dave Johnson hit into a double play in the first inning. Strike one to Johnson, and the Pirates are playing Johnson a little differently than most clubs do. The shortstop, Jackie Hernandez, is really way around in the hole. Look where he is. They're giving up the entire middle to Johnson. 2 strikes on that foul ball. And with the count 2 strikes now, you see Hernandez is coming back more toward a normal shortstop position, but he's still cut to the hole against Johnson. One away. Bing Crosby, Bob Hope, Dean Martin. Pretty good lineup of talent in any league, and each will host his own golf tournament that will be seen here on NBC early next year. Well, here's Powell. He's skied to the right fielder, Roberto Clemente. Time where we need shortstop Hernandez is trying to get the sunglasses on out at second base, and the alert second base umpire, Ed Sudol, said, hold it a minute. Let's make sure this man is ready. Kurt mentioned a little while ago, the sun is trying to break through. It's not really completely out yet, a little hazy and overcast. Strike one. Moose, you know, was kind of handicapped by elbow problems in 70 and also in 1971. You'd have to say, in the way he has worked through the first 3 innings plus, he's recovered. 1 Oriole base hit, a leadoff single by Buford. The only other Oriole base runner, a walk to Belanger in the 3rd. 1-1 to Powell.
Powell's 2 for 19, of course, has hurt the Oriole attack. He's a very important man in that order. He's had the bad hand in this series. That's probably hampered him. And Chuck told you he's had better series than this one.
Shortstop Hernandez in shallow right center, and he's got for the second out. Here is Frank Robinson. He struck out against Moose in the 2nd inning. Clemente. That's the final out. At the end of 4 complete innings of play, the score is Pittsburgh 2 and Baltimore nothing.
The batter, number 30, Dave Cash.
Here we go to the top of the 5th inning and the top of the Pirate batting order. Dave Cash, Rich Hebner, and Clemente again. Cash has twice popped out this afternoon, to first and to second baseman. Ball 1. One away. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
Number 20, Reggie Hebner.
Here is Hebner. He has skied to the center fielder and popped to the shortstop in 2 trips against Palmer. out of play, and he looked like he was trying to stop that swing and just couldn't get it done. One and one. One and two, and Rich looks a little unhappy, as if perhaps he felt that might not have been the kind of a pitch to be working on. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So much of the top hand into his swing in this case. And a ball. 2 and 2 now. The left hand, very prominent in Hebner's swing. And here is the man, Roberto Clemente. 3 and 2. I don't know, but what, you know, if I looked over and saw Clemente in the on-deck circle, if I were a pitcher, I'd be a little concerned, too. 3 and 2 to Hebner. That's a ball 4. A ball 4. And Weaver will protest. And Weaver is going to ask of the plate umpire, Kibler, that he verify it with one of the base umpires. Well, the dispute continues. And Weaver is going to go back to the dugout. But a ball 4 on the check swing to Hebner.
And as Roberto Clemente steps in, he's getting a hand. He has a chance if this series goes 6 or 7 at all-time records. The most hits by a player in the 6-game series, 12 by Billy Martin in '53. Clemente now has 11 hits so far. And 13 hits is a record for a 7-game series.
Well, Clemente this afternoon has just tripled and homered in 2 plate appearances. And the ball. Starting with the 2nd game of the series, the Pirates have had at least 1 man on in 35 of their 38 innings. That's incredible. Ball 1 to Clemente. Palmer missing with a curveball. Out of play.
Fans might want to take a look at the body of this man. You can almost put your hands around his waist. He weighs about 185. You've seen him stripped from the waist up. A marvelous chest and shoulders, long limber muscles. I'd call it almost a perfect body for an athlete.
1 ball, 1 strike to Clemente. The runner at first is Hebner. 1 out. Let's see if Rettenman can track this one down. And he does. And quite a few thousand fans in Baltimore collectively heave a sigh of relief as Clemente goes to the dugout for a change. 2 down. And here is Stargell, who struck out and grounded to shortstop in 2 previous turns. Ball 1 to Willie. One and 1. Well, Hebner not going anywhere. As a matter of fact, a step from the bag when Palmer made the move. Palmer's curve. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Palmer fastball to retire Stargell. No runs, no hits, and a man left at the end of 4 1/2 innings. The score is Pittsburgh 2 and Baltimore nothing. Well, we're ready to go now to the Oriole half of the 5th inning with the Pirates leading 2-0 on the scoreboard and 3-2 in games. And it is our pleasure to turn you over to NBC's Kurt Gowdy. Kurt?
Back at check. Merv Rettenman grounded a shorty first time. Then Brooks Robinson and Ellie Hendricks against Bob Moose, who's pitched a 1-hit, 4-inning shutout. The strike, the Pirate pitchers caught the disease from Steve Blass over in Pittsburgh Tuesday. They have been magnificent. Rettenman grounded a shorty's first time. Ball 1. Danny Murtaugh kept saying, "You're all slighting my pitching staff. I know we don't have 420 game winners, but my boys can pitch or we wouldn't have won the pennant." The canny Irishman, Murtaugh, with Bill Burden alongside of him. Two to nothing the Pirates. Last of the 5th. Breaks the curve over. One ball, 2 strikes. Moose has walked 1, struck out 2. The only hit off him, Don Buford, who singled in the first. Fouled away.
Kurt, American League fans might ask, well, gee, didn't the Pirate or the Orioles see anything like this Pirate pitching in their 71 campaign? Yes, they did. A fellow with the Red Sox by the name of Sonny Siebert. He beat them 4 times without a defeat.
The secret of this Pirate pitching is control. They're putting that stuff where they want to. They're not giving the Orioles any good pitches to hit. They're moving the ball around as 2-2. They're not overpowering Baltimore, but they're on the corners. They're in and out, up and down, no fat pitches. And the Orioles are just not getting solid pieces of the ball so far. More to pitching than just striking everybody out. The 2-2 delivery. 3-2. The Orioles have gone 21 innings in a row without a run. Could be a slump, too. They won 16 in a row. You know, the law of averages can go the other way. 3-2 pitch. Swung at that high fastball. It might have been close to a ball.
Kurt, if they don't get it straightened out pretty soon, they're going to have a terrible trip to Japan.
Yes, they leave right after the World Series for a month tour of Japan, playing the top professional teams. It'll be a long flight over, unless they rally. Here's the 3-2 delivery. Ground ball. Dave Cash brilliantly picked it up. His throw, he's got him. That's what the Pirates have been doing the entire series. Young Dave Cash.
Let's look at the Cash play once again. And notice that he did not hurry himself after getting to the ball. He took the time to set up and make the good throw and have something on it. And now let's watch Dave again. And watch again that he didn't rush this at all. He just took his time and got set up and then made the good throw. He'll continue. All right.
Brooks Robinson has a base hit to right field. Robinson is grounded out to first in his first hit. That's the 2nd hit now for the Orioles. The Pirates have 6 hits. Ellie Hendricks grounded out his first time. Our NBC scoreboard shows the Pirates ahead 2-0. The Orioles have 1 out with a runner on first. And they're still playing Hendricks as almost a dead pull hitter to right field. A ball to him. Now we're going to have some action for the first time in the Pirate bullpen. And surprisingly, one of the pitchers looks like Steve Blass. Oh, it's Johnson and Luke Walker. Bob Johnson is the right-hander, and Luke Walker. We wondered about that because Murtaugh's already announced that if it goes 7, Blast will pitch for the Pirates tomorrow. 2 balls and no strikes to Hendricks. That's a foul by the Orioles dugout, and looks to be out of play. 2-1 to Ellie Hendricks. The runner at first, Brooks Robinson. Danny Murtaugh wasting no time getting his bullpen ready. Even though the Orioles have only 2 hits. There's a drive into left center. Over for it goes Al Oliver. Flags it down. Robinson plays halfway and goes back to first. Mark Belanger walked his first time.
Number 7, Mark Belanger.
He's had only 3 hits in 17 times. The Pirate dugout. Ball 1. Sometime in this series, Danny Murtaugh is going to show some emotion. I don't know when it's going to be.
I think, Kurt, the only time would be after he wins it, if he is able to do so.
Right, he's really unflappable. Ball 1 to Belanger. 2-0. Pirates leading 2-0 if you joined us late. Pirates scored in the second when Bob Robertson singled and Al Oliver, who doubled. Clemente hit a home run in the right field seats in the third, and that's been it. The 2-0 delivery. Inside, ball 3. And these Oriole fans now getting itchier and itchier by the innings, trying to vocally roar their hometown Orioles into some hits or runs. Brooks Robinson at first, 2 down. The 3-0 pitch to Belanger. Right in there to him, 3-1. Jim Palmer on deck, the Oriole pitcher. Ball 4, and the Orioles have runners on first and second. It's been rare for them lately. While we wait for Palmer to come up, I want to remind you that the Magic Kingdom of Walt Disney's World comes to life with help from Julie Andrews, Jonathan Winters, Glenn Campbell, and Bob Hope in a very special Friday night, October 29th, right here on NBC. Jim Palmer sacrificed his first time.
Number 22, Jim Palmer.
Not a bad hitting pitcher, is he, Chuck?
He is a pretty good hitting pitcher. Led the staff in runs batted in this year.
Brooks Robinson at second. Belanger at first, 2 down. Ball 1, Jim Palmer. Earl Weaver. Ralph Savon, the Oriole trainer, whose niece and nephew called him in tears from Springfield, Massachusetts today because they couldn't get tickets to the series. The 1-0 pitch. They couldn't get him because Ralph couldn't get him. And that trainer can't get tickets. Must be tough. 1 ball, 1 strike. Baltimore has its first scoring threat. Runners on first and second, 2 away. A ball and 2 strikes to Jim Palmer. This is the first time the Orioles have had 2 men on at the same time since the first inning of the 4th game. And they scored those 3 runs. They have been blank since. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Struck him out on a curveball. Bob Moose pitches out of the jam. No runs for Baltimore. 1 hit, there were no errors, and 2 men left. We've gone 5 innings. It's the Pirates 2 and the Orioles nothing. We had an interesting thing happen while we were away on a commercial. This girl you see here in the ground crew, Linda Wareheim, makes the circuit and usually comes over and dusts off, that's Davy Johnson, dusts off the shoes of the third base coach. That's Al Oliver fouling the ball off. Most of the, well, in fact, everyone I've seen always sort of gets into the act. But in the second game when the Pirates were losing, Frank Osiak wasn't too happy there at third. And today he didn't come out in his third base coaching position until the girl had left the field, and he was roundly booed when he did appear. Oliver hits a fly ball out to Buford. 1 down. Al Oliver had previously doubled and grounded out. Bob Robertson. Single in a run in the second. Single to left in the fourth. Both times he's hit line drives. Pirates 2 runs, 6 hits. Orioles no runs, 2 hits. Foul ball, strike 1 to Robertson. We mentioned the other day some of the great players from the state of Maryland. We left out one. We apologize to him because we've been a big fan of his for years. Al Kaline. We're talking mostly about the old-timers, Babe Ruth and Charlie Keller and Frank Home Run Baker and Swish Nicholson, players like that. We left out Al Kaline, who was reared right here in this city. Foul back, 19 years with the Tigers. Came right off the high school playing fields of Baltimore to join the Tigers, and Kaline never played a day in the minor league. One out, nobody on. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Bob Robertson. There's a line shot to Belanger, and we're 2 down. Happy-go-lucky Manny Sanguillen coming up. Single to left, fouled out. This fella could go 0 for 14 in a game, make 7 errors, 15 bad throws, and the next day would still have a grin on his face. Sanguillen, a native of Panama. Fouls it back. Pirates leading 2-0, top of the 6th inning. The Orioles have the top of their order up on the last of the 6th. Jackie Hernandez on deck. 1-1. Palmer works very quickly. You'll notice no messing around between pitches. He moves the game. Look at that Sanguillen. He'll swing at anything. I love to watch him play. That high and inside pitch to him.
Kurt, I have to agree with that. I've never felt that there was anything the matter with a ball player showing fans that he enjoyed his work. And he really does. You can see he's having a heck of a time.
He slides head first into bases. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Chopper to short. He can run. Belanger's throw. Safe. Foul pointing that he was. Hattie, watch this.
Well, we'll take another look at it. And Belanger was powerless. He couldn't get to the ball on the high hop, but here is your play at first base. And he is safe.
Sanguillen, the fastest running catcher in the big leagues, on. They always compare him to Mickey Crockett. Another catcher who could run when he first came up was John Roseboro, the Dodgers.
Number 2, Jackie Hernandez.
And then we had Ernie Lombardi. Ernie was so slow they used to play him in the outfield. They had a 7-man outfield against him, and he still was a 300 hitter. Hernandez hit into a forced play and struck out.
Well, this is Powell, and he's got to retie that shoe, and this was part of his complaint to the umpire that Sanguillen stepped on his shoe, which, you know, would have really no bearing on it. Depends on when the ball got there.
He needs a shoehorn. You know, things have a way of creeping up on us. Yesterday, NCAA colleges open basketball practice for the 71-72 season. In the climax of that basketball season, seen in March, when we cover all the NCAA National Basketball Championship. Another World Series attraction on NBC. The finals, semifinals will be held in Los Angeles this year, next March. And NBC's cameras will be there. All right. Sanguillen on first, 2 down. Pirates ahead 2-0. Sanguillen has just had the 7th Pirate hit. The Orioles have only 2 hits. A strike to Hernandez, who's hit into a force play and struck out. Sanguillen has stolen 2 bases. The Pirates have 4 steals. The last couple of games they've been running on the Oriole catchers successfully. Palmer wants to keep him close. Count to Hernandez is 1 strike. Pop up, shallow right center. Davy Johnson going out, and the Orioles second baseman has it. No runs for the Pirates. 1 hit, there were no errors, 1 left at the end of 5 1/2. It's Pittsburgh 2 and Baltimore 0.
With tag number, Maryland.
Now, word on behalf of Major League Baseball. This is the 25th anniversary of the Players' Pension Fund. From the beginning, the benefits were generous. But in 1946, no one dreamed that today we'd see a 10-year man commanding a pension of $500 a month at the age of 50, or $1,288 a month at age 65, which Leo DeRocher just come up with. The player pension is one of baseball's great assets. The Orioles have now gone scoreless 22 innings in a row, and they have Buford, Johnson, and Powell, the top of their order, up in the last of the 6th. Buford has singled and struck out. He has one of the 2 hits off Bob Moose. A ball as he bluffed the bunt and brought Hebner charging in from third. Buford, a switch hitter. Fouls it back, 1-1 to Don Buford. Game 4, the Orioles had 3 runs in the first inning against the Pirates, and since then, nothing. Breaking pitch just off that corner. 2-1.
And on the other side, Kurt, here are the Pirates now in Game 6, and they have totaled out to 57 men left on so far.
All 3. If this series would end today, 6 games, the Pirates would break an all-time record for men left on. That's Billy Hunter now. Will he send up hit or take? 50 left on base was the old record for a 6-game series. 3-1 pitch. Moose comes in with a clutch pitch to make it 3-2. The bases are empty, nobody out. Moose has walked 2. Walked Belanger twice. Rams it, foul. Three and 2 to Don Buford. A high drive deep to right field. That one is going. It is gone. A home run.
Here is the Buford swing that gives Baltimore their first run on their third base hit. And for such a little fella, as you see, he generates a tremendous amount of power. And here now, Dave Johnson.
Dave Johnson has hit into a double play and bounced out. The score now, Pittsburgh 2, Baltimore 1. A chopper charging. Hebner can't handle it. Johnson safe.
Well, here is something you've not seen much of in this Oriole-Pittsburgh series. A miscue on the part of a Pirate infielder. And you see it was right off the heel of Hebner's glove. And he has been charged with an error. And if ever the Orioles needed a spark, needed something to turn them around, it is, of course, here in this game. And it would appear that this could be, the spark that could start them.
That's just the second error by the Pirates in the series. The first in the infield. Al Oliver in the outfield committed the other error. Boog Powell up. Foul off. And he's still hitting the ball weakly. Not hitting those line shots that he's famous for. And we're getting action now in the Pittsburgh bullpen. It is Bob Johnson and Luke Walker. Johnson the right-hander, Walker the left-hander. The Orioles have finally scored after 22 consecutive scoreless innings. Inside to Powell, 1-1. They have Johnson on first, nobody out, 2-1. Pittsburgh ahead, last of the sixth. They have the shift on again against Powell. They've used that three-man infield shift and the outfield overshifted against Powell and Ellie Hendricks all through the series. Fastball missing inside. 2 balls and a strike to Boog Powell. Dave Johnson at first. The Oriole fans have come to life here in the sixth. Just missed with a breaking pitch. Powell had ideas, but changed up. 3 balls and a strike. Billy Hunter, the third base coach. Bob Moose, who grew up 15 miles from Old Forbes Field. I asked him today if he used to go in and watch the Pirates play when he was a youngster. He said, no, I used to go hunting instead. An avid outdoorsman. 3 balls, 1 strike. Powell going after that fastball, fouls it away.
And he has kept everything. Moose has just kept everything he's thrown to Boog right in on his fist. And a little different sort of a portrait now out of the Oriole dugout from manager Earl Weaver. But this man, he just doesn't change.
3-2. Will they start Dave Johnson? He's at first base. Nobody out. No. And it's a base hit in the right field. Johnson's coming to third. Powell's on first. Clemente throws to Robertson, who cuts it off. And the Orioles have runners on first and third, nobody out. That ball just eluded Bob Robertson, who's made some very fine fielding plays in this series at first base.
Well, you can take a look at it again, a game of inches, and this one just does get by Robertson, who is a very good fielding first baseman. Just got under the glove. And the Orioles, who definitely needed some kind of a break, some bit of help to turn them around, seem to have picked it up here in this last half of the sixth inning, starting with a Buford home run, and then one of the most infrequent Pirate mistakes in this series. And let's face it, errors are a part of the ball game, and Hebner had one just trickle off the glove. Now Powell is singled, and now the Orioles have the tying run 90 feet away. and Frank Robinson at the plate. And I believe that Verdon has already signed to the bullpen, and he would want the right-hander Bob Johnson, if I read the sign correctly. But the Pirate bullpen is not heeding the call of the umpire.
Bob Johnson.
Now
right,
Johnson
Chuck.
takes.
Well, we have a break in the action now, Baltimore, with a score. The Pittsburgh Pirates 2 and the Baltimore Orioles 1. Robert Dale Johnson, who started the second game of this series, was knocked out early this year, won 9, lost 10. His big win of the year was in the playoffs against the Giants when he beat them 2-1 at Pittsburgh. In that game, too, he pitched only 3 1/3 innings, allowing 4 runs, 4 hits. He walked 2 and struck out 1. Well, the Orioles now have runners on first and third, nobody out. You just saw Dave Johnson at third, Boog Powell at first. Buford led off with a homer. Last of the 6th inning, and the Pirates are leading 2-1. Frank Robinson has struck out and lined to right. And this is the Orioles' big chance. Merv Rettenman will follow Frank Robinson to the plate. He pops it up. He went after the first pitch and popped it to the shortstop, Hernandez. 1 away. Merv Rettenman coming up now. He's grounded to short and grounded to second. Looks like that ball was a little bit outside, Chuck.
It did look as though it was not the kind of a pitch that Frank would, but I guess it was the Johnson fastball, and when you see that fastball, all systems are go,
Pirates still leave that infield back. Runners on first and third, 1 out. Pirates hanging on to a 2-1 lead. Right to Rettenman. That's Johnson, the lead man at third. Boog Powell at first. Bluffed a bunt. He's got strike 2 on him. They might have had a play on. 2 strikes on him now. 1 down, runners on first and third. The ball and 2 strikes. Johnson tried to tease him. You can watch Sanguillen. Earl Weaver doesn't look too happy. One ball, 2 strikes. He's out. A fastball cut the corner to him. And Bob Johnson has come in to get Robinson on a pop-up. Look at Weaver. Ooh. Trying egg in the back of his neck right now. And Rettenman on a strikeout. So far, marvelous clutch relief pitching by Bob Johnson. Now Bill Verdon moves out. This will be reminding Johnson maybe something about Brooks Robinson. That's all it was. Brooks Robinson is grounded to first and single to right. Let's see. Let's check that Pirate bullpen again now.
Bob Miller has joined Luke Walker out there, Kurt.
Pirates ahead 2-1. The Orioles had runners on first and third, nobody out and a run in. Now they're 2 down. Brings a curve over for a strike. Johnson at third. Powell at first. They're still there. Weaver is going to be fit to be tied if they don't get this man in from third this inning. And it's hit to third. Hebner goes over to Cash, and Bob Johnson comes in and does a fantastic relief job. Look at this. Earl Weaver down the runway, frustrated. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error, 2 left. And at the end of 6, Pittsburgh 2, Baltimore 1. Buy United States Savings Bonds where you work or where you bank. Bob Johnson, a strike to him. Must be getting some standing rounds of applause around the homes of the Pittsburgh area. Ground ball to short. Belanger throws Johnson out. Boy, what a job he did coming in there with runners on first and third, nobody out, and getting Frank Robinson, Retman, and Brooks Robinson out. 1 down in the 7th inning. The Pirates hanging on to a 2-1 lead.
Number 30.
Dave Cash popped up twice, grounded to short. Cash being played slightly to the opposite field. Jim Palmer outside with the ball. Palmer gave up a run in the 2nd when Robertson singled in Oliver, who doubled. Clemente hit a home run in the 3rd, and he's shut him out since. Ball 2. Palmer is due to bat in the last of the 7th, though. And now Pat Dobson starting to warm up in the Oriole bullpen. Oh, the failure of Palmer's teammates to at least tie this game for him or go ahead. They get Palmer out of here. 2-1. Pat Dobson. One down, nobody on. Ball 3 to Cash. Strike 2. Palmer has walked only 1 today, where he walked 8 in the 2nd game. He struck out 3. 3-2 pitch. Hit on a hop to Belanger. 2 down. Palmer appears to be in the groove now, Chuck.
He certainly seems to have hit the stride. He has thrown many more curveball strikes, and the fastball apparently is still, pretty active and has pitched a whole lot better since the 3rd inning than he had through the first 3.
Richie Hebner has flied to center, popped to short, and walked. Ball 1, and I imagine Richie's very happy that Bob Johnson bailed him out after Richie made that error that could have been costly for the Pirates in the last of the 6th. As it's turned out, the error didn't cause any damage. He's got a ground ball and back a second. There's where Belanger was playing in, and Belanger made all the plays in the 7th inning. The Orioles are coming up for their 7th inning stretch, and the score is still Pittsburgh 2, Baltimore 1.
Number 10, Elrod Hendricks.
The Orioles send up the bottom 3rd of their order in the last of the 7th. Ellie Hendricks, Mark Belanger, and Jim Palmer against Bob Johnson, who came in with runners on first and third, nobody out in the 6th. Did not allow a ball to be hit out of the infield. He sends a slow curve low to Hendricks for a ball. Art Sanguian, he'll give the sign, and he'll give a second sign where he wants the ball. Foul into the seats. And in this last 4 games of this series, these Pirate pitchers have put that ball where Sanguian wants it. And very few pitches over the fat part of the plate. The 1-1 pitch. Away from him. 2-1. Dobson warming up in the Oriole bullpen. They may hit for Palmer. We'll see. A little pop-up. Willie Stargell coming in, the left fielder. 1 away. Well, it's always the thrills of the big top, and Ed McMahon has your front row seat reserved for the Timex All-Star Circus Tuesday night right here on NBC. Belanger has walked twice. Pittsburgh leading 2-1, last half the 7th. Fastball for a strike by Bob Johnson. 28 years old, born in Aurora, Illinois, lives in Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. Foul back. Broke his ankle in a motorcycle accident, I think in '67. And they thought they might have to amputate his leg. You'll watch him if he feels his position or has to move off the mound. He runs with a slight limp. 2 doctors had advised a leg amputation. Check swing. Strike 2. The Pirates made a big trade for him. They traded to Kansas City pitcher Bruce Del Canton, catcher Jerry May, and shortstop Freddie Patek. 3 for 1. Johnson was disappointing during the regular season, but he came through in the playoffs, and so far he's been great in relief in this game. One and 2 to Mark Belanger. 1 out, nobody on. 2 and 2 now. Dave Justy is the warm-up pitcher in the Pittsburgh bullpen, their ace reliever. There's a ground ball into right field for a base hit. Jim Palmer is on the on-deck, so he's going to bat. Palmer will hit for himself. They're probably having up their bunting. Get that tying run down to second. And the way he's been going the last 4 innings, Weaver probably figures he can't bring anybody in any better.
And that's the age-old rule of baseball, isn't it, Kurt? If you haven't got anything better in the bullpen, stay with what you've got.
Hebner creeping in at third. A strike to Palmer. How good a bunter is he, Chuck?
Well, the best bunter on the Oriole ball club among the pitchers is the fellow warming in the bullpen right now, Pat Dobson.
1 strike. Palmer sacrificed in the third and struck out.
Be interesting to see if they just keep the bunt on, Kurt. Baltimore sometimes puts it on, takes it off, puts it on. See whether Palmer continues.
Pirates leading 2-1, last of the 7th. The strike. Or is it? Got the umpire signal up with his right arm. They have 1-1 on the scoreboard. And now they may take a sign off as third base coach Billy Hunter wants to talk to Palmer. 1 ball, 1 strike. I think the first base umpire, Shylock, was indicating he lifted his bat back, that he wasn't offering with his bat. 1-1 to Jim Palmer. Belanger at first, 1 out. Ball 2. Sanguillen hopping on that one.
And in that pitch, the bunt apparently was not in order. Now they look for it again.
It's the first time we've seen Murtaugh up and showing some emotion. 2 balls and a strike. Ball 3. 3-1 to Jim Palmer. Weaver saying to Billy Hunter, get out here and talk to him now. Let's be sure we're straightened out. Billy Hunter, the third base coach. The Orioles, the last half of the 7th, have Belanger at first, 1 out. They blew a great chance in the 6th, and they had to run in runners in first and third and couldn't score with nobody out. The 3-1 pitch. Strike 2, 3-2 to Jim Palmer. Palmer's giving Johnson a workout. Strike 3, he's out. Palmer thought it was a ball. Weaver's unhappy. Murtaugh settled back down again. 2 down. Don Buford has singled, struck out, and hit a home run. He has 2 of the 5 Baltimore hits. The Pirates have 7 hits. They're leading 2-1, Pittsburgh is. Johnson slips the curve over to him for a strike. Buford played as a pull hitter to right. You saw those 19 home runs he hit during the regular season. He can yank the ball out of here, as we saw in the 6th. He's hit 2 homers in this series now. Bob Robertson's hit 2 home runs. Big hole for him at shortstop. 1-1 to Buford. And Frank Robinson has hit 2 home runs. One ball, 1 strike. Belanger at first, 2 away. That breaking pitch low and inside. 2 balls and a strike to Don Buford. You see what he's swatting at? I don't know what it is here, but this field is alive with those yellow jackets, sort of bees or yellow jackets, and they've been stinging some of the players down the batting cages. The 2-1 pitch. There goes the runner. High to throw. He's in there with a stolen base.
Now here is the steal at second. Sanguillen's throw bounces. Belanger had the great jump and is in with Baltimore's first stolen base of the series. Belanger steals, and we're now going to have Bill Verdon come out and talk with Bob Johnson. And the Orioles continue to try to mount some kind of pressure, and Palmer has pitched exceedingly well over the last few innings and held the Pirates to only 2 runs in hopes that Baltimore can somehow start something and get caught up.
I think he wants Justy out of that bullpen. Dave Justy, who saved 30 games for the Pirates this year. He saved more games than anyone else in the National League, and they want him now. So Justy will come on the pitch, and while he makes his way in, we'll tell you the score here in the last half. The 7th is Pittsburgh 2 and Baltimore 1.
Well, as you see, Dave Justy has come in from the bullpen, and while he warms, let's go to Tony Kubek.
Well, if the manager has a game plan in baseball, the game plan for Danny Murtaugh was to get 5 strong innings out of his starting pitcher, Bob Moose. That he did, and then when Moose got in trouble, Bob Johnson came on in the 6th to get the Pirates out of a lot of trouble. It seems like it's someone different in every ball game for the Pirates picking up the slack. It was Keeson in one ball game. Of course, Roberto Clemente has led this team along all the way. We've had some great shots in the dugouts of the managers. There's a lot of money at stake, as you well know, almost $20,000. Earl Weaver has been very upset. He's tried to arouse and exhort his men to get off their backs and come back up. But every time it looks like the Orioles are going to come back, somebody from the Pirates comes up and puts them right back down. Let's see if Justy can do it right here. Back upstairs.
Dave Justy's 3rd appearance in this series. He's worked 3 innings, allowed just 1 hit, no runs. He's walked 1, struck out 1. 31 years old, born in Seneca Falls, New York, lives in Pittsburgh. He is the Pittsburgh player representative. A little college football here. At the half, Penn State 24, Syracuse nothing. At the half, Dartmouth 10, Brown 7. At the half, Yale 7, Columbia nothing. First period, Princeton 15, Colgate nothing. First period, Florida and Florida State no score. First period, Georgia Tech 7, Auburn nothing. And our score here in Game 6 of the World Series, the Pirates are leading 2-1. If they hold this lead, they win the series. Belanger is at second base. The count is 3-1 to Don Buford. It's ball 4, and the walk is charged to Bob Johnson, the preceding pitcher. Justy came in behind in the count. So Johnson logged an inning and 2/3, gave up 1 hit, no runs. He's responsible for the 2 men on. He struck out 2, walked 1. Dave Johnson hit into a double play, bounced to the pitcher, reached in an error. He hasn't had the ball out of the infield. 2 down, runners on first and second in the last of the 7th. Foul back. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network. Kurt Gowdy, Chuck Thompson, Tony Kubek back with you. Baltimore, the Pirates leading 2-1 in the last of the 7th. Van Gien was sure he was in front of that one. 1-1 count to Dave Johnson. Belanger's at second, Buford's at first. They have been the Baltimore attack today. Those two have been on base 3 times apiece. Justy's breaking pitch low, 2-1. That's a strike at the knees, 2-2. Pitching him down. Bob Miller, a right-hander. Luke Walker, a left-hander, are heating up in the Pirate bullpen. 2-2 to Dave Johnson. 2 down. Runners on first and second. And there's a soft line in the left field for a base hit. Belanger comes in, ties it up. Scargill threw behind the runner at second. Dave Johnson singles to left, throwing Belanger from second. Scargill threw behind the runner. He does that. He and Clemente will throw behind runners. He tried to nip Buford at second, but couldn't do it. He knew he didn't have a play at the plate. Boog Powell flied out, popped up, and singled to right. So we're in a tie game now, 2-2, last half the 7th. They have a shift on for Powell. He hits a high drive to left field. Willie Stargell camped under it, and that's it. Baltimore tied it with 1 run. 2 hits, no Pittsburgh errors, and 2 left. At the end of 7, the score, Pittsburgh 2 and Baltimore 2. Now we're in the 8th inning at Baltimore's Memorial Stadium. And the Pirates send up Clemente, Stargell, and Oliver, the heart of their batting order, in the 8th. Clemente tripled to left center in the 1st, hit a home run to right field in the 3rd, lined out to center field in the 5th. Oh, he's hit the ball to every field in this game. He's getting a hand now every time up. Baltimore fans know a ball player when they see one.
And I'll tell you, they know that they have seen one in Roberto Clemente. He's impressed me as much as any ball player I've ever seen.
He has been very outspoken all of his career. He says what he thinks. He hits a high fly in the left center. Calling for it is Don Buford. Got it. 1 down. Clemente had criticized the playing field here, that it's a bad ballpark. I asked him again today. That's what I mean, that it is. My opinion. Willie Stargell has struck out, grounded out, struck out, 0 for 3. You'd figure the two big strong boys in this series would be Stargell and Powell. They've had only one extra base hit between them. That was a double by Stargell. Palmer gives him the fastball, 1-1. We're in a tie game, 2-2 in the 8th inning. Jim Palmer's gone all the way. Changed up, ball 2, 2-1 to Stargell. The Pirates went down 1-2-3 in the 7th. Very unusual for them in this series. Foul ball back. They had gone 20 innings in a row, getting at least one man on base. The Orioles finally got him out in order in the 7th. 2-2 to Stargell. 3-2. You won't see pitchers work much quicker than this. Foul back. 3-2 to Stargell. 1 out, nobody on. Game tied, 2-2. 8th inning. If we have Game 7 tomorrow, Steve Blass, a right-hander, pitches for the Pirates. Cuellar is scheduled to start for the Orioles. Foul again, out of play. Three-two pitch. Change up. That one's hit deep to left. Buford going back. He's got it. Two down. Al Oliver, double to right.
Number 16.
Grounded out, fly to left.
Oliver.
These Pirates continue to hit the ball all over. Right-handers to right, left-handers to left. There's a drive into right center. Retman moves under it, and he gets them out. 1, 2, 3. And the Oriole fans roar as Jim Palmer comes back into the Oriole dugout. At the end of 7.5 innings, the game is tied 2-2. A reminder to all sports fans that in February 1972, NBC Sports will be in Sapporo, Japan, telecasting the 1972 Olympic Winter Games. Over 30 hours of alpine skiing, ski jumping, cross-country, bobsledding, speed skating, figure skating, hockey, all the events that make the Winter Olympics so exciting. And you'll see it all right here on NBC. Last of the 8th inning, Frank Robinson leads off for the Orioles. He struck out, line to right, and he popped up. The runners on first and third and nobody out in the 6th. He'll be followed by Retman and Brooks Robinson. A strike to him on a curveball. And here in the late innings now, they're guarding the lines. Weaver trying to get someone's attention. Richie Hebner's guarding that third base line, so Robinson can't punch one by him for extra bases. And Hernandez playing way over in the hole. They'll give him the single up the middle. The ball, 1-1. Bob Moose went 5 innings. Johnson pitched an inning and 2/3. Justice worked a third of an inning. Ball and 2 strikes. They're feeding Robinson nothing but breaking stuff today. Checks his swing, 2-2 count. G-U-I-S-T-I. Justy. Pitching 2-2 to Frank Robinson. There's a foul ball that is going to be over by the tarp and just off. Looked like the tip of the glove of Bob Robertson. got quite a boarding house reach. Two and two to Frank Robinson. Nobody on, nobody out. This game is tied 2-2 in the last of the 8th inning. Got him on a fastball. One away in the last of the 8th. Verv Retman has grounded to short, grounded to second, and struck out.
Number 14, Verv Retman.
Ball one to Retman. The foul levels the count at 1-1. The lights have been on in the entire game. The sun has tried to come through a couple of times, but hasn't quite made it. An overcast day here in Baltimore. Rather muggy today. On the corner for strike two. Look at Weaver. I'm glad I can't read lips. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Retman. And he strikes out on an off-speed curve. Robinson and Retman have been stopped cold in the number 4 and 5 spot in the Baltimore order. Rich Robinson is grounded to first, single to right, hit into a force play. 1 out of 3. Baltimore has 2 down, nobody on. Fastball misses. 1-0 to Brooks Robinson. Ball 2. If we have Game 7 tomorrow, we'll start here on NBC at 1:30 Eastern Daylight Time with World Series report and the ball game at 2 o'clock. Have a Sunday law here. You can't start a game before 2 in Baltimore. Foul ball. The count to Brooks Robinson, 2 balls and a strike. 2 down, nobody on. This game is tied 2-2 in the last of the 8th inning. Just missing that corner. 3-1. And you Pirate fans looking ahead to the ninth, you'll have Robertson, Sanguillen, and Hernandez due up. 3-1 pitch. Like 2, 3-2. Ground ball, Dave Cash up with it his throw. He still got him. Dave Cash hung in with it and got a lucky roll up his arm for that one.
We'll have an opportunity to see this one again, and again I point to the fact that this young man at second base, Dave Cash, does not get rattled. He does not hurry himself. He takes his time and makes very certain of the play. A very cool, very professional performance. And so, at the end of 8 complete innings, the score is Pittsburgh 2 and Baltimore 2.